Today I'm going to tell you about a blaster you didn't know you needed. This right here is from Chronograph, and this is known as the Flintlock Musket. Now, full disclaimer, this is a product that was sent in from Frontline Foam for review. And in today's video, we're going to check out all the performance of this blaster and all its features. This thing is a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and jump right into the video. 1 second though. Now I gotta say, I absolutely love Chronograph's designs. He has a bunch of different blasters that utilize kind of like the flintlock mechanism. So the first thing to talk about is the overall looks of it. First off, it is huge. Like, look how long this thing is. Of course, we have the bayonet on the end. This is plastic, so you wanna be safe with this thing, but it just adds to, it's just comical. It would be nice if they offered kind of like maybe a foam version of it. Continuing with the front of the blaster, we have this hop-up tab, which you can actually remove. So that's pretty nice. The blaster operates off of, as you saw earlier, you prime it with a priming rod. So you just kind of line that up, push it all the way down. Helps if you put the blaster on the ground and push against it. Now the musket is very sturdy, so don't worry about breaking it. It's got some weight to it. So I'm not sure what exactly the print density is or the infill, but it's pretty sturdy. Once you prime the blaster, you can take your preferred ammo type, in this case, Rival, drop that in there, use the other end to kind of pack it down. Now this barrel is a very unique design in which it is able to accept Rival rounds. And then if you push further past the little cone inside here, you can go and actually feed 50 caliber foam darts, and actually foam balls too. So I have tried Rival, short darts, and long darts in today's video, and I will show you those results in a little bit. But as you can see, we have this thing loaded. Ball is in there. If you want to get in the spirit of a flintlock musket, you can actually put that back, push that forward, and then when you fire, the whole mechanism works, which is really sweet. Now I do want to talk about something that is kind of weird to me. I understand why it is designed this way, but it is still frustrating, and that is when you prime this blaster, I'll show you now, you can actually feed a dart in, and I happen to do this with a short dart. You can actually feed it in too far. So on the actual rod here, and it says, do not pass this line. Now that line is set up for a long dart, so keep that in mind. When you're doing a short dart, you gotta push past it a little bit, but not too much. Now if you go too far, it will actually go into the plunger tube. And if that happens, you gotta do a little quick dismantle. Now I will say this top screw up here is not too bad, but the one on the side is pretty long. If you're doing this out in the field, you're gonna be turning a screwdriver for a while. Chronograph recommends that you just keep them inside the plunger tube, and hopefully you don't shove too many in there in one game. And of course, after the game or at the end of the day or whatnot, you would crack it open, take all the darts out, and you're good to go. Now, normally this is prevented by putting either a pin or something in there that actually stops the back of the dart from feeding all the way in. However, in this design, you have to prime the plunger tube by running this all the way through it, so that's not an option. Now, if you want to completely avoid this altogether, then just use Rival rounds, because the Rival rounds actually stop up here and you can't push them down into the plunger tube, which is nice. Actually here, this is actually the length of the Rival barrel. So you can see it's pretty short. Now I did test around with some other ammo types like Mega XL and whatnot, and it'll launch it, but it's not really meant for that. I'm sure you can rebarrel this or do something else to launch this a little bit more effectively, but as of right now with this current configuration, we got Rival rounds and 50 caliber foam darts. Let's head on over to the Chronograph and get some readings off this thing, and let's see how spicy it is with the various darts. 153, 156.6, and 138.7. 144.8, 153.5, and 155.5. 203.1, 175.6,
And 187.5.
And now that we got that out of the way, let's see how accurate it is. Now, to be fair, we all know that Rival's not super accurate. I have a range, an indoor range here at 50 feet, and Rival just does not do well with this amount of power pushing behind the Rival round. At 50 feet, I was getting some real crazy shots. But I will say, long darts and short darts perform very well out of this blaster. They perform so well that I actually wish I had some type of optic on it. And that's to be expected because within this blaster is a K26, a full-length K26 with a K26 plunger tube. So that's a lot of power. And that would explain why the prime of it is, let's just say a small child will, you know, not have a great time priming this thing. It's not too bad though. Like I said, put it on the ground, push down on it, you're gonna prime it just fine. So in summary, in closing, I think this blaster is just a ton of fun. This is definitely not for everyone. This is kind of like a personal preference thing. I am very happy to report that the performance of it's very good. So, you know, if you do want to run something like this, it's actually going to treat you well. I actually want to run this in our next war. I think it's just going to be a lot of fun. Also, something that I do is, you know, I run a lot of flywheel blasters and semi-auto and full auto. And so I'm typically, you know, out of ammo, you know, out of darts, if you will. And what I find with this stuff is it kind of makes you have more of appreciation for those, but at the same time, it makes you kind of take your time with your shots, you know, be a little more sparingly. And I don't know, I kind of like that play style. It's cool to jump between the two. So definitely gonna have some fun with this one. I do wanna say, before we wrap up today, there is an amazing blaster that I was looking at. It's called the Volley Musket, and it is just, it's just ridiculous, and I love it. I really want to make one or get one. This thing has 7 barrels. It's essentially 7 of these, and you have to prime each one. And from what I understand, the trigger actually fires them all. It's the, I want that to go away, you know, button that, oh man, I just really want to build that and just run it in a war and get a few people to turn their heads and say, what the heck is that? But yeah, special thanks to Frontline Foam for sending this in. If you'd like to support the DrFlux channel, use the official DrFlux Frontline Foam affiliate link, which we get a few bucks back. As always, I'm DrFlux. I want to thank you for watching today's video. Be safe and happy foam flinging. Well, 1 second. Happy foam flinging.